And now, ladies and gentlemen, may I present to you our most dangerous contestant in the arena, ELHOMO!
Hey, how's it going, folks? All right, so I've got something real juicy lined up here today. With the Season 3 update just around the corner, I've decided to put together my dream wish list for new content and features that I think would make this game 10 times better in an instant. So, first of all, I should point out that I'll be doing my best to avoid mentioning balance changes, but I'll be putting more focus on just content/features. Okay, so to lay it out here, this wish list will include a new theme for the season, some new features and game show events. I'll also be including one weapon for each build, along with a gadget and specialization for each build too. I'll also suggest some new game modes that I think would really boost the player engagement and bring in more players, along with some quality of life changes that will just make the whole finals experience that much smoother. Okay, so to start the list off, going from our standard new modern game show event theme in Season 1 to our futuristic hacker synthwave theme in Season 2, I would love if the Season 3 theme turned the clocks back and gave us a 50s American dream diner rock theme. This could look really cool, and I think it would suit the game's art style perfectly. It would have a mixed feel between Fallout, OG Nuketown, and Back to the Future. All right, now to move on to some of the features I'd love to see. I think to start, we need a revamp of the game show events. I don't know about you, but the low gravity event and orbital lasers have completely lost all novelty and are getting to be a little annoying at this point of the game. To replace low gravity, I think a speed boost event would be really cool. Another event could be a siphon event, meaning that players gain health and bonus cash for eliminations. I think that would be really cool to change the game up if certain teams were avoiding contact. I think a final kill cam would be a great addition. I understand that this is difficult to achieve in a programming sense due to all the destruction, so hopefully they can eventually come up with a solution to that. Another feature I think would be cool is a detailed statistics tab, showing us our kills with each weapon, our KD ratio with different builds, and so on. A text chat feature has already been confirmed, and that's great, so I'm hoping that's something we get to see right away at the start of the season. All right, now to go through some weapons for all the builds, starting off with heavy. For a heavy weapon, I think we need something with range. Given that all heavies' current weapons are typically short to mid-range, I think an anti-tank sniper would be a great choice. This thing would feature a really slow fire rate and slow aim down sights, but it would have the ability to break walls, wall bang, break most shields in 2 shots or less, and obviously deal high damage to players. I reckon 1 body shot to lights, 1 shot headshot to mediums with 2 to the body, and 1 headshot plus 1 body shot to heavies. I also think it should have a slightly stronger melee damage to compensate for how slow and long-ranged it would be. All right, for medium, I think we need a DMR. We already have 2 automatic rifles and a burst. The riot shield makes up for melee, and the grenade launcher makes up for explosives. I think a DMR that holds up to 10 rounds with less damage than the LH1 would be a great addition for medium. It would fit right between the revolver and the FCAR in terms of use cases. Okay, and finally for the light build, I think a deagle would be beautiful. I understand that we already have 2 light pistols, but this would have a completely different dynamic. Now, I don't need to explain what the deagle brings, because it's the same thing in every game, but if you don't like that idea, I also wouldn't mind dual deagles or some form of akimbo pistols for light. I just hope the new weapons are more unique and stylish than what we got for Season 2. Okay, folks, so now I'm going to suggest a specialization for each build. To start, let's go back to heavy. I would really like a harpoon gun for heavy. Similar to Roadhog's hook from Overwatch, the harpoon would be able to catch enemies and pull them towards you while also dealing small damage on impact. Another use for the harpoon could be to use it as a way to pull down walls or ceilings, or to use it as a slower version of Light's grapple gun. For medium, I think a more passive and less OP version of Recon Senses would be fine to make a return at this point in the game to try and offer a different dynamic to the healing meta. My suggestion would involve the original power of Recon Senses, but it would only detect enemies that are actually visible when enabled. So basically you turn it on once you can actually see enemies, and then they will be trackable through walls until the ability runs out. For Light's specialization, I think we stick with more mobility and add a wall running or magnetic feet ability. This would let Lights attach to vertical surfaces and jump to unattach. I see this as just another equal option to evasive dash or grapple but just with its own dynamic. And now for gadgets, these are probably my most desired additions from my list, so here we go. For heavy, a speed bomb. Imagine being a heavy and having a way to actually catch up to lights and mediums who are simply time-wasting, running rings around the map. This gadget would have the exact same animation and function as the Vanish Bomb, so it would be a team gadget too if your teammates are within the splash radius. All right, for mediums gadget, how would you feel about a spear? I think this would be a really cool feature if you could throw the spear to pierce through shields and have the ability to knock back enemies and deal damage. Granted, it wouldn't be easy to use, but more of a high-risk, high-reward item. I think 120 damage would be fair as long as it has some travel time and wasn't hit scan by any means. Now for light, I think we desperately need a health stim ability. They could package it as the Ospu's health juice and make us drink it to apply, but I really think this needs to come sooner rather than later for lights. In terms of power, I think it should heal somewhere between 50 to 90 health, and it should probably not be super fast to apply. Okay, so moving on to game modes, I can't believe we've made it to Season 3 without a permanent solo mode. Please embark for the love of your game, just add a quick play solo mode. Solo Banquet was great, but I think a solo deathmatch would kill two birds with one stone. You instantly appeal to a whole new kind of player base. It also sorts out the solo queue problem for players who just want to hop in quick play and warm up. And another mode I would suggest would be a limited time gun game mode. Typical gun game, but you start as a heavy, work your way through medium and onto light with a dagger. Other than a solo mode, I think a duos version of Quick Cash would be really fun. Teams of two can bring a much more fast-paced style and offer way more variety in terms of team composition metas. Okay, folks, to finally wrap up this list, I'm going to mention some quality of life changes that should make the game feel nicer and focus on some small benefits that could make a difference. Sound cues for invites would be nice, being able to track more than 5 challenges at once, more contestants to customize, being able to change to any weapon in quick play modes, even if they aren't in the spare loadout slot. It's quick play. Why does it matter? One last thing, and this may fall under the balancing category, but I don't care. We really need to lower the health regeneration timer to 6 seconds for lights and 7 seconds for mediums. Heavies can stay at 8. Okay, folks, that's been my wish list for Season 3. I really hope you enjoyed the video. Do you agree with my list? If you have any suggestions or questions yourselves, then I'd love to hear them in the comment section. Thanks very much for watching. Ratings and follows are greatly appreciated. Bye-bye now.